If you like this video, click like. If you want to continue to follow our adventure, hit subscribe. Your support would be greatly appreciated. Hello, Louse on the Road subscribers and followers. I've heard a lot of sites and social media sites that talk about really the only place to be if you're a nomad is Arizona, Quartzsite, Ehrenburg, kind of in that area, the desert region. There's been entire episodes dedicated to the importance of staying in this area. And I'm here to tell you, I've never been there. And we've been living in this camper, this pop-up camper, for a year now. We've primarily stayed in the East Coast area, and not once have I needed to go to Arizona right away. I'm going to go through these, what I'm calling myths about Arizona and being a full-time RVer. So let's get started. Number one, there are amazing things to see everywhere. Everywhere we have been, we have seen something amazing. When we went to Mississippi, went to Lake Enon, Army Corps of Engineers lake, and it was amazing. It was under a drought. The lake was a dry lake bed. I understand now that it's full, but at the time it was dry. And we were literally walking the lake bed. It was incredible. And we would take daily walks in this lake bed. Kentucky, saw the most amazing things in Kentucky. Huge rocks and streams just off the beaten path. The tallest waterfall in Kentucky. Absolutely incredible. Virginia, well, Virginia in itself, I mean, you got the entire Smoky Mountains. Breathtaking every day. Different beauty every day because the cloud covers would come in and different mountains would be covered. It was just incredible. And of course, Florida, we're in Florida now, and we got the oceans. And it's just been amazing, absolutely amazing going down in the ocean. We're doing our live feeds now, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. right next to the beach. So every Wednesday we walk that beach before we do the live feed. So, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. One of these days I do want to see the Grand Canyon, but I don't think I want to dedicate my life to one area. Number two, no free campsites on the East Coast. I don't know where this myth has come from. It's incredible to me because I'm not having any troubles finding free campsites everywhere. There may be some states that don't have it that I'm not aware of just yet. Fine, I won't argue that. But everybody told me, oh, you're not going to find anything in Virginia. And we've stayed all summer in Virginia at free campsites. And all but 2 weeks of it, we had internet cell signal. So there's plenty of campsites. I didn't think I would actually find any in New York. And on one of the live feeds, someone said, you have to come to New York. And I said, well, there isn't any free campsites there, is there? And they said, oh, yeah, lots of them. So I looked it up. New York State actually provides a lot of free campsites. So that is a myth, absolute myth, that there's no free campsites on the East Coast. There are a ton. Number three, if you want to get away from the hustle and bustle, you can do it on the East Coast as well. I keep hearing that the only place to be is in Arizona if you want to get away from people. Well, what's incredible is every time I watch a video about Arizona, it's usually surrounded by tons of people. The RTR is an example of that. There's a big RV show there that happens every winter. It's where all the snowbirds go. Snowbirds is people who try to follow the weather. They come south into the warmer climates in the winter. There is plenty of places in the National Forest all over the East Coast that you can just get away from it all. I'm currently in a campsite. This campsite, since the hunting season's been over, has been primarily empty. We've been here by ourselves most of the time. But the other thing you can do is you can literally go out into the National Forest, away from the campground, and you can stay 2 weeks there. Now, they would like for you to stay at a spot that has previously had camping on it, but that is not a requirement. That is a request. You have to be, and it depends on the National Forest. I mean, I can't spell them all out, but most of the ones we've been to, you just have to be 100 feet off the road. There in the National Forest, you are never going to see anybody. And I know this because in Virginia, we did the same thing. We went basically a quarter mile down from the campground that we stayed at, Hawk Point. We just stayed off into the forest, but 100 feet off the road, And the only person we ever saw for the 8 weeks we were there, we got extended stay because of hurricane season. The Rangers let us stay there, asked permission. So they let us stay there for 8 weeks. We saw one person, well, two people. They were walking. Their car battery had died, and they were walking trying to find somebody to help them. And that was the only people that we bumped into the entire time we were there. Myth dispelled. You can do that in the National Forest as well. Number 4. There is this myth that you have to be a snowbird. That if you're going to live in a van or a pop-up camper or RV or whatever, you have to find warmer climate in the winter and cooler climate in the summer. And that's not true. It's just not true. You can do it without electric, plugged into the grid, without having to find warmer and cooler climates. And I know this. We were in a pop-up camper, okay? We had to go to Missouri November, December. It got down to 12 degrees. And we heated the camper, I've said many times, with a little 12-inch or 6 to 8-inch, I don't know, ceramic heater. And we did just fine. In a pop-up camper. Everybody says you can't heat a pop-up camper. That's a myth in itself. Yes, you can. Well, if you can heat a pop-up camper, you can heat a van. Well, when we came down here, it got in the 20s regularly here in Florida. It's just been a really cold winter for Florida. Everybody says so. We had to run propane because we didn't have electric. And it has been the cheapest heating bill I've ever had in my entire life. $65 is what it cost us to run the propane heater. And I don't intend to ever have to chase the weather again. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just kind of go where the pattern is. Obviously, as winter approaches, I'm going to head south. But if I get stuck in Missouri on a cold day, I'm not going to freak out and say, oh man, we got to rush to Florida. I hope that gives somebody some insight that if you're going to do this, you don't have to worry about going west. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.